Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last time we had a Pokemon White 2 challenge as we sought to conquer future Unova with just a single Chikorita. Check out that video. Today we jump forward a generation and we are going to see if I can beat Pokemon Alpha Sapphire with a single Finneon. We are a first form fish Pokemon, we have a 330 base stat total. And none of these stats are particularly bad, if I'm honest. The worst is 49, the best is 66, so could be a whole lot worse. Our speed is good, our HP and attack stats are all level with each other. Our defense stats aren't terrible. 330 is quite a common base stat total. It's shared with, amongst others, Aron, Weasel, Delibird, Houndour, Luvdisc, Phanpy, Zorua, Voltorb, etc. We are mono water type, so weak to grass and electric, resistant to steel, fire, water and ice, though depending on our ability we can also have a potential immunity to water. Our moveset isn't bad, you know. We do get some coverage with normal, flying and bug moves available via level up, not just water type moves. I'm probably more tempted to go the special attacker route than physical, so Silver Wind could be nice for any possible status buffs. I've been getting a lot of utility out of Safeguard in runs of late. We even get some nice moves via TM, including Ice Beam, Scald, Hidden Power as probably the best of them. Not getting any moves that can raise our attack stats is a bit of a black mark, but oh well. We can get a few moves via Tutor, but I wouldn't say they're anything special. This challenge was suggested by Patreon Jason Cabanuk. I think this was about a year ago when I wasn't entirely well looking at the submission, but hey ho, I don't think this will be too bad. We get coverage, water, very good type. We've not got bad stats either. I think it's more a case of, hey, remember, Finneon exists! The rules are on the screen throughout. I'm adding that I won't be using Pokemon Me, but I will be doing some super training for sure, just to sort out our EVs. Also, if you do enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. Let's get this on. Alrighty then, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Mudkip with Finneon, so that I can do the whole run with it. I chose to replace Mudkip so that our rival would take Trico, which is the hardest for us to fight. We protect Professor Birch from getting rabies from being attacked by a vicious Poochyena. Are Poochyenas really that vicious? I'm curious. I mean, a lot of Pokédex entries state that they are persistent and will chase prey, but will flee if the prey strikes back. The Scarlet Pokédex entry also calls them cowardly. I digress. Anyway, we nickname our Finneon Phineas when we get the chance to give him a nickname. That name just felt right and I make no apologies for it. There's some logic there. Phineas has the jolly nature, which very annoying. More speed? Not bad. Less special attack? Yeah, that's irritating. Ah well, my plans will not change. You will be a special attacker, little fishy. I don't train yet and go off to confront May up north, and she uses her Trico to battle my fish. And it's not like we can do a lot to each other. We simply just keep on exchanging pound attacks until one of us goes down. Not a lot of tactics on show here, but hey, it is what it is, and thankfully, it's the Trico who goes crashing down. We begin our training then. I look to start knocking Wingulls out, since they give speed EVs. I also set out to catch a whole bunch of Zigzagoon for the pickup. It's a bit better in this game rather than the original Gen 3 games because combining pickup with the experience share lets us get some pretty good items towards the back end of the game. It's not quite on par with the Fire Red and Leaf Green pickup mechanics, but ah well. First bit of the game might not be too bad. We've got a rock gym, so I'm rubbing my hands together at that, and I think we'll be okay right up until at least the Cycling Road rival fight, if not the third gym. Maybe I am overestimating Finneon. It isn't long before we get access to super training and I promptly spend some time maxing out our speed and special attack EVs. It's not a bad way to do it, so I guess I can live with it. The reason I'm kinda sorta against Pokemon Me in these challenges is that it makes it easier to level up. which I feel like probably makes the run a bit easier, so that's kind of the thinking behind it. Besides, in Gen 6, I don't know if this is in Gen 7 as well, there is a weird quirk where if you delay evolution, the Pokemon gains extra experience after that minimum level it can evolve, so we're already going to be gaining extra experience there when that comes around. Maxing out our EVs though isn't necessarily going to make the run easier in itself. We still need better moves because at the moment we are a bit lacking in that area. It's not long before we end up in the Rustboro gym at level 11, and it's the first time in a long time where I've gone into the Rock gym in Hoenn at a lower level than the gym leader's Pokemon, but I guess maybe that's a mark of the supreme advantage we have. Geodude survives Water Gun thanks to Sturdy and hits Rock Tomb for pretty decent damage before she heals and doesn't get it back to full health, and we end it with another Water Gun. We land a Water Gun on Nosepass, but it crits another Rock Tomb which puts us on 2 HP, so I'm hoping for misses now, but unfortunately this is the generation where they buffed the accuracy of Rock Tomb and we soon go down. Oh dear, we might still have lost without that crit on us, but we'll never know. I come back soon after some more training to put us up to level 13, since I think a bit more of a punch isn't going to be able to do us any harm. Indeed, it might even have the opposite effect. We do take less damage from Rock Tomb, but otherwise the Geodude fight goes exactly the same. The main difference is that we get a high damage roll on the second Water Gun we hit Nosepass with, and 2 Water Guns are enough to take it out, though we did get hit with another Rock Tomb. No crit at least, 1 badge down. We are travelling next, and the next gym is the Fighting type gym, so this might well be a bit harder, but we should have enough to get past Brawly for sure. I'm not the least bit intimidated by him. I do like his gym puzzle in this remake though. He begins with Machop and we begin to fire Water Guns off. We put the Machop in red health with 2 Water Guns, but we get hit with 2 Leers, so that's worrying for sure. He heals it and we have to land 3 more Water Guns to bring Machop down, but we do get tagged with a Karate Chop that cuts off over half our health, and then Makahita. We land 2 Water Guns to put it in red health, but we get hit with 2 Sand Attacks, and thus we miss 2 chances to end it with another Water Gun, and as a result this fish goes belly up. I train up a bit and it turns out to be a good decision, because when we hit level 17 we get a move that means we're going to hit them really hard, as Finneon learns Gust. Quite why this fish can learn this flying type wind move is beyond me, but oh well. Machop survives Gust and hits Leer before Brawly heals it, and from there it is a simple matter to hit it with 2 more Gusts to take it down. Makahita does hit a Sand Attack, but unlike last time it doesn't negatively affect us and we can take it out with 2 Gusts. The next bit of the game is liable to be a bit trickier. We have the rival fight upcoming and then the electric gym, which could be rough, and then there'll be an Archie fight shortly afterwards, which probably won't be pleasant either. I think it'll be doable, just not pleasant. At least the fire gym after should be simple though. On the subject of the cycling road rival fight, it's been well established how difficult this fight can be, and today is no sort of change, as it does take us a few good tries to get past May at this point, largely because Grovyle is capable of really messing us up with Mega Drain. It takes at least 3 hits to take it out. Mega Drain means more hits, since it hits us really hard and recovers a lot of health. The winning run looks something just like this. Slugma survives 1 Water Gun, but a second takes it out. Bit annoying, but what can you do? When Grovyle starts going for Fury Cutters and Pursuit attacks, it's a good sign, because neither of those moves are super effective. It doesn't get stab on either of them, and we can free hit that with Gust. Wailmer gave me issues in the first effort, but here we go for Rain Dance to power up our Water Gun and Attract to stop it, building up momentum with Rollout, and we can soon take it out with half a dozen Water Guns taking damage to Rollout, Astonish and Whirlpool, but it lost a lot more turns to being immobilised by Love. Wailmer is another one that I do want to use in a challenge at some point soon. When I enter Morville City, I took the Acro Bike, just in case you were wondering. I know that if I didn't say what I took, then you might wonder if I was going to do this joke again or not. Electric Gym then, and I can already tell that this is going to be a pain. It takes a few attempts and I try a few different methods, but eventually we get an effort where we go in to fight Watson, and this is how it plays out. Magnemite is first, it survives Water Pulse thanks to Sturdy, aka the single most hated ability in single Pokemon runs, and paralyses us with Thunder Wave. We heal it with our berry, we watch Watson heal his Magnemite, and then we take it out with 2 more Water Pulses. Voltorb narrowly survives Water Pulse, but we get the confusion and it duly hits itself to take itself out of the fight. I guess it like crashes itself into the ground or something. I just always imagine a Machop or something punching itself in the face when the opponent hits itself in confusion. Magneton then confuses us, we hit ourselves and Magneton blasts us with Magnet Bomb, but 2 Water Pulses can take it out. Very strange why it didn't go for an electric move, but oh well. On the road then, and let's do some Finneon trivia. This is known as the Beautifly of the Sea and also Finery Fish. They are popular with divers, they are the natural prey of Wingull. Finneon can learn Nature Power via TM, even though its evolved form cannot. Finneon and Luminium are the only Gen 4 Pokemon to have a Piscine body. Its name may be a combination of Fin and Neon. Its tail fins are similar to freshwater butterfly fish, and they also resemble the wings of actual butterflies. It also resembles a Neon Tetra or a Cardinal Tetra. The way it leaps from the water's surface is a known behaviour in flying fish, including how they are picked off by birds while airborne. It's not long before we have the Archie fight at Mount Chimney, and I'm not too worried about this, though I think it will be harder than the Fire Gym for sure. After this, I'm not sure where the next real obstacle will be. It might be Norman, it might be Archie again. I can't see Flannery, Winona or Tate and Liza being problems. I do actually have some issues with the Archie fight, though there are reasons. There are a lot of issues to contend with here. Possibly the dumbest decision I made was to bring my pickup team here, largely because his Mightyena has Roar, and it's annoying to try and set up Aqua Rings on it when we're getting roared out. Plus Swagger, meaning we have to use Safeguard for protection. On the winning run, we use that Safeguard, we manage to take Mightyena out with Water Pulse and Gust, but we do get hit with Assurance and Swagger in the process. The latter pretty much not an issue since we are just a special attacker by this point. Golbat we set up Aqua Ring on and take out with a few Water Pulses, but we do take some damage in the process, which not ideal. But at least we are healing slowly. Then Sharpedo, and this is strangely difficult. I lost a lot of efforts to this. I put Safeguard back up and it tries to go for Swagger. It also has Screech, which is annoying. It does use it, but we take it down with 2 Water Pulse attacks. Archie's Sharpedo actually has a competent moveset in this game. I did Pokemon Ruby with Archie's team and moves, and trust me, in the original games, he really does not have a moveset that befits that Pokemon's stats. Mind you, to be fair, it's worth pointing out the physical special split in Gen 3 probably did Sharpedo no flavours. It's a physical attacker, and Water and Dark were both special attacks in that gen, so you can probably argue it's maybe not entirely his fault. Blame it on the developers, lay everything at Game Freak's feet. Fire-type Gym Leader Flannery is next, and I cannot put into words just how not worried I am by the prospect of this fight. I think we are going to be absolutely fine here. We're a water type, we're about to battle a fiery specialist. Mind you, I said that about Roxanne. Let's see how it goes. Her first Pokemon is Slugma. Please stop laughing, folks. We down it with Water Pulse. Nummel doesn't do any better. We one-shot that with Water Pulse. Torkoal, I figure, might survive a water pulse, but that doesn't happen. We blast it with the liquid orb and we take it down for the 4th badge. We are well into the boss rush now, and we get May to fast travel us to Petalburg City, where we have to go and fight our dad. Norman is the next gym leader, and we've got to overcome his normal type team, which, given he's from Johto originally, you can really tell his origin with his team in this game, given it uses 2 members of the same evolutionary line. 3 technically. He's been hanging out with Faulkner and Morty too much, I think. I safeguard immediately to block Hoenn and then set up Aqua Ring. We keep hammering into the first slacking with Gust and Water Pulse attacks. We don't even get hurt in this first round of fighting thanks to Truant, as when it's his turn to attack, he heals and we blast it down with 2 more Water Pulses. Vigoroth is a 2-hit with Water Pulse, but does hit a Retaliate for a decent amount of damage. Slacking number 2 also hits a Retaliate after we go on the Water Pulse offensive, and thanks to Truant we can land 2 more Water Pulses to bring it down. He never heals, he never gets the chance to attack again, and we're 5 badges deep. I feel like when you're using Slacking and it doesn't have Facade, I feel like that really cripples it somewhat, but hey, Retaliate, it is what it is. There is a rival fight next, which may be pretty simple, since I know, at least in Gen 3, it rains in that area a lot, which is going to play into our hands. We have Winona after that, who may not be entirely a simple challenge, since she has Altaria, and we are going to struggle to hurt that with our current moveset, but the rest of her team shouldn't be too bad. I can't remember if she has a Pelipper in this game or not. Tate and Liza will probably be a joke. I think Wallace may cause some issues, because it's worth remembering we don't get a lot to deal with water types. On the subject of that rival fight, it is indeed raining, and this fills me with a massive amount of confidence, particularly since we have Surf now, and with that boost from the rain, I think May is about to walk into a whole world of hurt, especially considering that level lead that we're slowly building up over the opponents we are facing. Slugma gets wrecked by a single Surf, and though that isn't a surprise, the next round of the fight is versus Grovyle, and we also one-hit that with Surf, and that's a one-hit takeout too. I'm impressed. Whalmer is last, and we take it out with Surf, giving us the win, and we can move on. In Fortree City, I discover that we have the Grass type Hidden Power, and at the time I wasn't entirely sure how useful that would turn out to be. Watch this space, I genuinely don't think this registered at the time. Anyway, it's about this point that I go to rush through the flying gym and make my way towards the battle with Winona. See my previous comments as to how this might go, I genuinely don't know. I think it's probably actually going to be a bit of a roadblock, and that worries me. It does take a few tries for sure. We keep getting wrecked by Altaria, and we need to keep Safeguard up because it keeps paralysing us with Dragon Breath. On the winning run, we could one-hit Swellow with Surf, but I hit that with 3 Silver Wings instead, hoping for the Omni boost, and we do get one before Swellow goes down. We Safeguard, use another Silver Wind as Altaria hits us, but thanks to the boost, our Surf does a lot of damage, even despite being resisted. Altaria does start to spam Roost, but we soon take it out, so that is karmic justice for her time-wasting tactics. Pelipper is third. It wastes the first turn with Protect, then survives our Surf on red health, prompting a heal, but we soon take it out with more Surf attacks. Skarmory is last. We down it with a single Surf. It doesn't have Sturdy. Mwah! We move on. There is walking ahead as we make our way towards Liliko City, and this feels like a fair time to quickly talk about what's been ongoing with the channel. So, there have been uploads fairly consistently. I've been uploading Batman Arkham Asylum and Buffy Chaos Bleeds. I'm probably well over the halfway point of uploading those playthroughs at this point. I've got 25 episodes of Resident Evil 6 to start dropping when all that is said and done. And I've also got over half a dozen episodes of my playthrough of Pokémon Xenoverse, so that'll be going up at some point. Really enjoying that so far. It is sometimes the kiss of death, me saying that, because no doubt, usually because that's the point where I get fed up and it sort of dies a death after a dozen episodes in. There'd been more Master Showdown. I reset the randomizer after 40 battles and took 60 odd characters out of it since we were getting way too many repeats. And next time we have another Pokemon Challenge ahead. Be sure to join me for that as I see if I can beat Pokemon Platinum with just a single Shuppet. That has potential to be truly interesting. 3 DS era challenges in a row. Well, DS and 3DS, but at least after that, my next DS era ones aren't until October release, so I'll be having a break for a bit. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below or follow the link in the description to Twitter or Discord. We have the Lily Cove City rival fight next, and it is actually mandatory in this game, unlike the Gem 3 ones, and she actually has a competent team here, unlike the Gem 3 games. Gem 3 Hoenn is a weird set of games for rival fights, I will say that. But anyway, the May battle. Swellow is first, and we repeat the Winona tactic, hitting a Silver Wind before just deciding to take it out with Surf. No rain here. I decided to keep the Silver Wind PP since Sceptile is next, and it immediately uses Detect. It survives Silver Wind on the next turn, we don't get the boost, and we get hit with Dual Chop before finishing it with Gust. Magcargo is a one hit with Surf. I mean, is that really a surprise? It's a Magcargo after all. Wailord is last, and this is horrific as we don't have a fantastic way to hurt it. It goes to Amnesia and we burn through a lot of turns because it rather annoyingly begins to spam Rest. We can't really hurt it enough while it's asleep, and often as soon as it wakes up it goes back to sleep within 1 or 2 turns, so absolutely infuriating. We're trying to win this fight, she's playing stall tactics. A way to hurt water types. I remember wishing at the time that I had an effective way to do that. It takes several turns, we have to tank several water spouts, but eventually we bring it down. Psychic Gym is ahead, we managed to negotiate our way around and we face off with the Psychic Duo, Tate and Liza. I really don't think this is going to be an issue, I have no sort of concern about them, and it proves to be exactly founded as, when the double battle begins, we one-hit both Solrock and Lunatone with a single Surf to send us victorious. It's about this point ahead of both the Archie fight and the Wallace battle, I realise we are going to likely continue to have problems with water types, and it's also about this point that I start to wonder about how best to deal with them. And then it finally hits me that I remembered that we have a grass type hidden power. That option exists, so I go for that, and I also put Ice Beam on Phineas as well. So then, the Archie fight, I am not too concerned about it. I mean, I go in with that attitude and I've forgotten my own comment from earlier about how this isn't Gem 3 and he has a competent team now. But still, it's mostly fine. There's some stuff this remake does good, there's some stuff that's less good perhaps. I'd say team composition of opponents is probably better. Anyway, he begins with Mightyena and we one-shot the Dark Doggo with Surf. Muck survives Surf and hits Gunk Shot, but we don't get poisoned and another Surf brings it down. Crobat is third, no problem, we down it with an Ice Beam, before we have to face Archie's Mega Sharpedo, and a single blast of hidden power is enough to fold it like a house of cards. As we wander towards the fight with Kyogre, I go do the YouTube search and try to work out if this challenge has ever been done before. Part of the reason why I wanted to do this was because Finneon and Luminium are Pokemon I tend to forget existed, forgettable fish and all that. I couldn't find many single Pokemon challenges in Oras at all, being fair, bar 2 with Castform, one of them for a rather famous Poketuber in M&J TV. Regarding Finneon, I did search to see if it had been in challenges before, and I found 2 previous efforts, both in Gen 4, one in Diamond, one in Platinum. I remember when I first got the submission for this challenge, I was talking to the guy that I do Master Showdown with, and I mentioned I'd had this challenge with a Pokemon I forgot existed, and he went, which one's that? And he was there this whole thing about guessing. I think it took him about 5 minutes for him to remember that Finneon existed, so it's not just me. Anyway, it kind of backs up my point that it is a forgotten Pokemon. You know what I will say? The Satopolis gym puzzle feels way harder in Gen 6 than it does in Gen 3. Maybe it's just because I've got that much experience of the puzzle in this gym in Emerald, but I think it took longer for me to get through this puzzle than it did to get through Victory Road in short order. Mind you, I think it is different from Ruby and Sapphire to Emerald as well, but I don't recall. Anyway, Wallace, easy. Love Disc goes down to Hidden Power, and to nobody's surprise, Whiscash does on the next turn too. Third is Celio, and Hidden Power ends that pretty quickly too. And fourth is Seeking. Same result again. We blast it with Hidden Power to end it. Last is Milotic, and though it survives Hidden Power, we tank the Hydro Pump and end it with another Hidden Power. As I travel through Victory Road, let's talk about what is ahead. You know what, I'm really not worried about the Elite Four even slightly. We're not a physical attacker and we can hit hard with stab special moves, so Sydney should be a breeze. We're going to get intimidated by Mightyena at the start, but that's not going to be an issue. Phoebe, I have some psychological issues with, but again, I don't know how much she likes to screw around with pressure and protect tactics in this game. We might be fine. Glacier might be a bit harder, but not by much. I'd probably put her as the most worrying of the four. I'm not concerned about Drake at all. We've got the Dragon Kryptonite in Ice Beam after all. Shouldn't Dragon Kryptonite be called Dragonite? I wish. Steven may be a tough battle, but we should have enough to get through. I think with the moveset we've got, there is nothing that resists every single move that we've got, so we're probably fine. At the very least, they'll be neutral. We do have a fight with Wally before we reach the end, and I'm not too concerned. We should be able to overpower him. He begins with Altaria, and we Ice Beam that down before we do the same to Roselia on the next turn. Magneton has Sturdy and survives our Surf attack because of it, but thankfully it goes to Screech and not something that could paralyse us. We take it out with Hidden Power. Delcatty goes down to Surf, and then we have to fight the Mega Gallade next, and though it hits Psycho Cut, we do manage to drop it with 2 Surf attacks. As we stand in Evergrande City, I decide to check out our stats, and here they are at level 84. Speed is fantastic. I don't think much will outspeed us. Still not happy about the nature that lowers our special attack, but our special attack stat is still comfortably better than our physical attack. Our defences aren't fantastic, so we might take some shots badly, but hopefully we can recover more than we can take. We've been using the Shell Bell after all. Take your guesses on if I can do it at this level or not. Right now folks, let's do this. Dark Trainer Sydney is first and reasonably confident as I have been for the last few fights. My issues with him have been well documented, but I can't see any of them really to come into play here. And besides, how bad is he really going to be? He begins with Mightyena and we're intimidated, but it's nice to say it doesn't really matter. Mightyena hits Sucker Punch, but we down it with Surf for a quick knockout. Shiftry is out next, simple matter, Ice Beam it down. He sends in Cat Turn next, and we repeat the tactic, bringing it down with Ice Beam. Sharpedo is fourth, and since this worked so well versus Archie, we use Hidden Power to end it, before we face the Absol, and another Surf is the order of the day, and that soon brings it down for the first win. Ghost type trainer Phoebe is next, and again I've had some rather noticeable issues versus her in the past. Slacking, but I'm reasonably confident here. I think we should be able to do something without too much trouble. She begins with Dusclops and we go for Safeguard. It uses Confuse Ray and we block it. Result, before taking it out with Surf. Dusknoir survives Surf on a quarter and hits a crit Thunder Punch, but we shrug it off before taking it down with Ice Beam. Sableye hits Fake Out, but we strike back with Surf to bring it down, before Bayonet number 1 is fourth and Surf ends that hard, and since the first one didn't do well, the second Bayonet doesn't fare any better and Surf brings that down too. Ice Trainer Glacier is next, and this was the only wrinkle in the Elite Four challenge, since I actually lost the first effort, but the second one goes a lot better. Just made me think that my first ever loss on Pokemon Master Showdown was with Glacier, and I was actually using her Auras rematch team in that battle. Anyway, she begins with Glalie, and the reason we lost the first attempt was because of the light screen it put up in that attempt. We took a lot of damage because of those extra turns. This time it survives Surf and goes for Hail, which is better than light screen for sure. She heals and we start to wear it down again, striking it out with Surf and Hidden Power. Walrein is a 2-hit with Hidden Power, but we do get struck with Blizzard. This was where we lost a lot of health in the first run, since being constantly struck by blizzards while doing less damage in exchange wasn't good. Frostlass number 1 goes down to Surf, and given we're in Hail, I should just be glad we hit it. Frostlass number 2 also goes down to Surf, and ditto my previous comment. Glalie number 2 survives Surf and hits a crit freeze dry for decent damage, but even though she heals, we take it out with Surf and Hidden Power. 3 down. Dragon Trainer Drake is 4th, and I'm really not concerned here even slightly. Again, I've had some issues with him in the past, but remember what I said about Dragon Kryptonite. Ice moves usually make things easier versus Dragon Specialists. Usually, but not a complete guarantee. He begins with Altaria and we Ice Beam it down. Flygon number 1 is next and we Ice Beam it down. Salamence is 3rd, and Ice Beam does to that what it did to Altaria and Flygon, before he goes for his second Flygon and we launch Ice Beam at it for knockout. Good of him to use 4 Pokemon quad weak to Ice. Kingdra though, we land an Ice Beam and freeze it solid, doing about 3/4 of its health. He does use a full restore though, and a combination of Hidden Power and Ice Beam aren't enough to bring it down before we get hit with Yawn. He drops another full restore, we can't finish it with Hidden Power and we fall asleep. This went wrong very quickly. Thankfully, we're not asleep too long, we can wake up and hit another Ice Beam and Hidden Power to take it out, though a few Dragon Pulse attacks do cut into our health. Just a champion fight left then, and we'll be able to draw a line under this after. It's Stephen we fight here, not Wallace. I need to remember that this isn't Emerald. I think we should have enough for sure. He begins with Skarmory, and I'm pretty sure there's some fights versus him where it has Toxic, so I go for Safeguard just in case. We do get hit with some Aerial Ace attacks, but they don't do a lot. And when Skarmory survives Surf on red health, we even get him to waste a full restore. 2 more Surfs bring it down. Credilli is 2nd. It hits Giga Drain for pretty big damage, but 2 Ice Beams are enough to bring it down, which is a big relief since that was a bit of a wall. Aggron survives Surf thanks to Sturdy and hits Stone Edge for big damage, but when he uses the full restore, we can counter attack and take it out with another Surf and Hidden Power. 4th is Claydol, and despite it having decent special defense, it goes down to a single Surf. And out 5th is Armaldo, and that we also take out with Surf. But last is the Mega Metagross though, and we strike it with a Surf for about 2/3 of its health. It does hit Zen Headbutt and put us in red health, but we have got enough health left to fight on, and a second Surf brings it down to give us the win, and thus we have triumphed over the champion, thus we can enter the Hall of Fame, and thus we have completed the run. I could challenge the Delta episode, but I'm not entirely sure what I might get out of it, so let's leave it as being said and done for now. Well, that was interesting to do. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I mean, it is always nice to do a different game, or at least a different take on the region, and it has been a while since I did an Oras run. It's well over 18 months, so, I mean, I'd definitely be up for doing more, but if there are any you'd like to see, then shout out with them. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below, or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. I mean, I do have my own well of ideas, but I'm letting that build up. As I said throughout the year, I've been trying to focus on doing viewer submissions this year. And I suppose the benefit of that is that I don't run out of ideas. I mean, if I do end up doing future runs of Oras, do you want me to do the Delta episode? That's the question. Anyway, I'll just mention it. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Help my channel grow, please. Oh, and since this is Gen 6, there's a final rival fight after the credits, which I'll do. I didn't win this one on my previous Alpha Sapphire challenge. Who'd have thought a Tepig might have struggled versus a Mega Swampert? I feel way more confident here though that we're going to beat May. She begins with Swallow and we soon Ice Beam that down. Raichu is next and we strike it with Surf for a defeat, and when she goes for the Magcargo in 3rd, it's a very simple thing to do exactly the same thing and wash it away. Wailord is 4th and we can blast it with Hidden Power, which wrecks its massive HP bar and brings it down in a single hit, before the final opponent is May's Mega Sceptile. and if the fight with Drake proved anything, it's that being 4 times weak to ice is not a good thing in this circumstance, and we soon one-shot that with Ice Beam to draw a line under the run. And with that, folks, I am going to jump off here. Thank you so very much for watching, folks. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye bye, so long, see you, take care, au revoir.